الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده أما بعد. Let's start with our lesson today. Quick revision of what we have covered so far. We talked about the definition of kalima, which is a word that has a meaning, and it is of three types: ism, fi'l, and harf. We started talking about ism. So firstly, if you look at certain words, you can just identify by the signs they display. So some are at the beginning, like harf jar before a word is an indication that the word itself is a noun. Harf jar is preposition. Al, al in English, or alif lam, al, is a definite particle. So if it is attached to a noun, it becomes ma'rifah. It becomes a noun. It's a sign of a definite noun. Noun plus definite as well. And likewise, tanween at the end is a sign that the word is noun, even if you don't know the meaning of that. Likewise, dual and plural forms, rounded ta at the end, these are all signs of noun. When you look at a noun, you try to identify four different aspects, four facets. Every noun has one from each of these four categories. So you describe a noun based on its gender, its form, its declension, and its number. So with regards to its being definite or indefinite, what is the form you can call it? So the definite, there are 7 subtypes. Ismul Damir, which is a pronoun. Ismul Alam, the proper noun given to any individual. Ismul Mawsul, the relative pronoun, which we haven't covered yet. Ismul Ishara, we haven't covered either, which is demonstrative pronoun or indicative pronoun. Mu'arraf bil lam, an indefinite noun that has al before it to make it definite, ma'rifah. Munada, the vocative, the person you're calling by using o before it, which is ya in Arabic. We will cover that in detail. And then something which is possessed by something else, another noun possessing something. So mudaf ila ma'rifah, something which is possessed by a ma'rifah becomes ma'rifah per se. And nakira has 2 main types, ismi dhat and ismu sifa or sifat. Sifa is adjective which hasn't got any external reality without a being. So that is a being, some entity, and sifa is attached to that. You cannot have beauty without the beholder or the person who having it. You cannot see the length or tallness of someone until there is a thing that you are describing as tall. Could be tree, could be man, could be whatever. But there has to be a being for a sifa to manifest itself. Then we mentioned that you can put asma together, ism together. Asma is plural of ism. You can put 2 together and get a compound. And that compound could be complete or incomplete. Complete or tam becomes a sentence, jumla. Incomplete, there are many subtypes. We covered the murakkab tawsifi, adjectival compound, which has 2 parts. The first part is called mawsuf, second part is called sifa. Mawsuf or man'ud and sifa or na'at. And they correspond to each other in all 4 respects, with regards to their gender, with regards to their being definite or indefinite, with regards to their being singular, plural, or dual, and with regards to their declension. And there's one exception to that, which we will cover later. And then we said about the gender that every noun is considered a feminine, or a masculine, sorry, unless there is a sign to suggest that it is feminine. So default is that every noun is a masculine unless proven otherwise. So name of a female, for example, Maryam, Zainab, Hind. These are feminine name, and we know that they are feminine by just being a name of a feminine that is known, for example. It doesn't have to be known. Anyone in the family, you have given a name to someone in the family, a female, a daughter or someone, you've given a name, that name becomes feminine regardless. It may have signs for femininity, it may not. And likewise, attribute, for example, arus, the bride, hamil, the pregnant, hail, menstruating. So those are attributes of feminine. So the word per se becomes on its own becomes feminine. There are three signs as well that you can see. For example, ta at the end. Salih as muzakkar, salihatun. Jalisun as muzakkar, jalisatun. Qa'imun, qa'imatun. Ta at the end, rounded ta, which when you stop at becomes ha, salihah. Sa'a, sayyara. Likewise, alif maqsura, shorten alif. Uzma, you're pronouncing alif at the end. Uzma, salma, kubra, sughra. Likewise, alif mamduda, the prolonged alif. Zahra, sahra. So these are three signs of feminine name or noun. Then the body parts in pair, like yadun, hand, rijlun, feet, aynun, eye. They are in pairs, hence they are feminine. Likewise, places, Makkah, Hind, Pakistan, Misr, they are all feminine words. Tribe name, Quraysh. And likewise, some are simai. The way Arabs use it, they use it as feminine. Nafs, for example, means soul, is a feminine word. Shams, the sun, is feminine in Arabic. Na, fire, is feminine. There are many like that. There's no rule for those. It's just that the Arabs use it as feminine. Then number. In Arabic, we have three categories. You have singular, you have dual, and plural. One, singular, wahid, mufrad, and then dual, musanna or tathniya, and then plural being jama. Okay, so you have jama as well. So what is mufrad? Mufrad denotes singularity. It normally carries tanween, doesn't have to, normally it can carry tanween, and it is nakira generally when it's nakira. Qalamun, for example, suggests a pen. Kitabun, a book. Baytun, rajulun, a man. So that was rijl with kasra and jim with sukun. So rijlun, that's feet or foot, actually singular. And this is rajulun. Rajulun, this is a man. Dual, you add by, you make by adding ani. So rajul, rajulani, bayt, baytani, walad, boy, waladani, bint, girl, bintani. That's ani, aini, aini. So why ani, aini, aini? These are different states. Ani, aini, aini. There are three states. One with ani, second is aini, third is aini. This letter before this ya sakina would have fatha on that. Aini, baytaini, rajulaini, kitabaini, qalamaini, and likewise qalamani, mani, maini, qalamani, qalamaini, maini. Three states are like that, but we cover that separately. Okay, let's just change these into dual. Yadun. Tasniya would be yadani. Jannah. Jannatun. Jannah. Paradise. Yadun means hand. Paradise. So jannatani. Just add ani at the end. Jannatani. Noon with kasra at the end. Imra'atun means woman, a woman. Imra'atani, two women. Two gardens. Jannah means garden, paradise. Two gardens, two paradise. Al-aqilu. Al-aqilani. Again, al-aqilani. Sahirun, a magician. Sahirani. Abidun, the worshipper, a worshipper. Abidani. Sabirun, patient, someone who is very patient, someone who perseveres. Bear. Sabir, the one who does sabr. Sabirani, two of those. Baytun, baytani. Walida, walidatani. Sajid, sajidun, sajid, the one who prostrates. Sajidani. Okay. One second. Not babtani. Baytani. Not in English. Okay, let's translate into Arabic. A shining eye. Eye is ayn. Ayn, aynun. A suggests singularity, so aynun, aynun. Ainun, and ainun is body part which is in pair. So it would be a feminine word. So you need to find out a word for shining. Shining is lami'. Lami'. So lami'atun, because ayn is feminine word. Ainun lami'atun. Ainun lami'atun. Two diligent men. Men is mawsuf. Men is rajul. And two rajulani. Is it marifa or nakira? The suggests marifa. So you would say ar-rajulani. Ar-rajulani. And diligent, hardworking, mujtahidani. And both should have al because Mawsuf has al, so Sifa should have al as well. So ar-rajulani al-mujtahidani. Ar-rajulani al-mujtahidani. The preoccupied baker, the busy baker, busy bee. The baker. Baker is khabbaz from khubz. Khubz means bread. Khabbaz. The suggests that this is a marifa word, so you would say al-khabbazu. Al-khabbazu, busy. Al-mashghulu. Al-khabbazu, al-mashghulu. Two shining stars. Stars, kawkab. Tathniya or dual form is kawkabani without al because there's no the there. So you would say kawkabani, just add ani. Kawkabun, kawkabani. لامعان. كوكب is مذكر. So كوكبان لامعان. Two new cars. Cars are سيارة. تثنية سيارتان. سيارتان without al because there's no the there. سيارتان new. جديدتان because سيارة is a feminine word. Rounded ta at the end. So جديدتان. سيارتان جديدتان. The bright day. Mawsuf is day and the day. So the day is al-yawm. Al-yawm, the day. And day is also nahar. So an-nahar, whichever one. Al-munir. Munir, bright. Okay. Al-mudi'u, mudi', bright as well. There are many words for this. The two tired servants. Servants. is servant is khadim, and two khadimani, and the al khadimani. Tired, ta'ban. Tasniya because they're two. Ta'banani, and the at ta'banani. So al khadimani, al ta'banani. This is how it would work. The two, no, the two lazy tailor. Tailor is khayyat. Khayyat from khayt. Khayt means the needle. So khayyat, two tailors should be khayyat, khayyatani, khayyatani. Two khayyatani. The al khayyatani, lazy, al kaslanani, al khayyatani, al kaslanani. Kaslan, lazy. The two flowing rivers, the rivers, the two rivers. So rivers is nahr, two nahran, and the al nahran. Together you would say an nahrani, an nahrani, nahrani. Flowing nahr, nahrani, al jariyani, jariyan, flowing. Two large houses without the. Two houses. Bayt, baytani, baytani, large, kabirani, baytani, kabirani. Okay, okay. You can review it on the slides afterwards. Okay, let's talk about plural today. So plural. How do you make plural? Just by adding una if it was Saleem. So just before that, Jama or plural is of two types, Mukassar and Salim. Salim is sound. What does it mean? That the structure of the singular doesn't get broken at all. And Mukassar is broken. So the structure gets broken by adding a letter, deleting something, adding something of a different designational mark, fatha, dhamma, kasra, zabar, zer, page gets changed. So you break the structure. If you keep the structure intact and just add something right at the end, this is sound plural. And if you break anything, it is broken plural. Okay. And it is of, again, muzakkar and muannas both. For muzakkar, you just add una and ina. Una, ina, ina. So muslimun, you want to make it into plural. So for tathniya, you would say muslimani, muslimaini, muslimaini. Ani, aini, aini. Here you would say muslimuna, muslimina, muslimina. Una, ina, ina. Say it and memorize it. Ani, aini, aini for tathniya, for both male and female. For plural, for jama'a, there's difference between masculine and feminine. For masculine, sound masculine plural, you have to add una, ina, ina. Marfu, mansub, majroor, three states. Una, ina, ina. So muslimuna, muslimina, muslimina. Mu'minuna, mu'minina, mu'minina. That's how it would go for muzakkar, for masculine. So say muslimun, muslimuna, muslimina, muslimina. Mu'minun, mu'minin, mu'minuna, mu'minina, mu'minina. Talibun, talibuna, talibina, talibina. That's how it would go. Una, ina, ina. Sound plural, masculine. But for feminine, you have to use atun, atin, atin. Atun, atin, atin. In the first marfu form, you would say atun, and then for second and third categories, you would say atin, atin. So muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin. And obviously, if you put al before it, then it would be just one of those signs. Atu al muslimatu, al muslimati, al muslimati. So muslimatun becomes al muslimatu, because you cannot have al and tanween together. This is tanween, two pesh, dhammatan. You can either have this or that, not both. So muslimatun, muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin. Mu'minatun, mu'minatun, mu'minatin, mu'minatin. Talibatun, talibatin, talibatun, talibatun, and talibatin, talibatin. These are two for mansub and majroor. Both state you would have the same kasratan. There are very few exceptions whereby some feminine would take that. For example, sanatun. Sanatun means the year. 1 year, sanatan, 2 year, sanatain, likewise. The plural of sanatun is sinuna, sinina, sinina. Although this is a feminine word, but sometimes a feminine word may take the plural form of masculine, which is sinuna, una, ina, ina. Sinuna, sinina, sinina. Mansub al majroor will be same. Una, ina, ina. Okay, so that's few exception only. And obviously, there's a feminine as well for it, sanawatun, which is feminine sound plural. Okay, couple more points. There are certain words which are collective noun. A collective noun is a noun which is singular on its own, yet it has many different individuals within it. It's a collection of or a group of people or things. For example, qawm. Qawm is a word which has many people. Qawm means people. There are many people in it, many men, women together, and yet the word is singular and you do not have any singular to it. This is why we call it collective noun. Ismul jama. Ismul jama. Rahtun, likewise, a group of people. So there's no singular to those. We'll leave that. That's just extra point, but I would leave it there, inshallah ta'ala. Let's go on to sarf. You memorize this, I hope. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. So we need to memorize those. Damair, those pronouns. And Madi we have covered already. So you did abada, abada, abadu, abadat, abadata, abadna. Abatta, abattuma, abattum, second person. Abatti, abattuma, abattunna for females. Abattu, abadna. Let's do with darasa. Darasa, darasa, darasu, darasat, darasata, darasna. Darasta, darastuma, darastum, darasti, darastuma, darastunna, darastu, darasna. Obviously, you don't have to use these. Unless, I think we've already did this majhul form, which was the passive voice. So durisa, the scale would be durisa, durisa, durisu, durisat, durisata, durisna, durista, duristuma, duristum, duristi, duristuma, duristunna, duristu, durisna. Again, these categories do not exist. And then let's start with a new paradigm, which is that of mudari'. You remember in Arabic there are two tenses, madi, mudari', and mudari' has two parts. One is present, one is future. So mudari' has both in it. Madi, mudari'. Madi we have just covered, active and passive forms. Mudari'. So in mudari' you have certain letters which are called the signs of mudari', the indications for mudari', and they are called na'ti, for example, noon, alif, which is actually hamza, ta, ya, na'ti, na'ti, noon, hamza ta ya, noon hamza ta ya, na'ti. Just remember that. So this will be at the beginning of a verb, at the beginning of any verb. Okay, so look at that. So this is your madi. Abada, he worshipped. Abada, he, they two men worshipped. Likewise, we just did this. So this is how it would go all the way. You want to make it into mudari, you have to add one of the signs of mudari, which is ya. You could see ya, ta, and then alif or hamza and noon. So na'ti, noon, hamza, ta, ya, ya at the end. So na'ti. So there would be one of those four letters at the beginning of a verb to qualify as a mudari. So mudari should have alamah of mudari, sign of or hint or indication of mudari, which is na'ti, noon, hamza, ta, ya. Any of those four. There has to be one of those. And then they have extra noons in certain cases. So ya'budu, he worships or will worship. This is present or future. You can use both ways. Same tense would be used for present and future. Ya'budani, those two men, they worship or they will worship. Ya'buduna, all men, they will, third person again, will worship or they worship. Ta'budu, she as a woman worships or she will worship. Ta'budani, those two women, they worship or they will worship. Ya'budna, all those women will worship or worship, present or future. Ta'budu, you, O men, you worship. Remember this, that's why I underscored it. Ta'budu for she and ta'budu for you as well, singular, singular. Ta'budani, you both men worship. Ta'buduna, all men, all you men, you all worship. Ta'budina, you, O singular woman, you worship. Ta'budani, you two women, you worship. Ta'budna, ta'budna. It was ya'budna, and this is ta'budna. So this noon is the noon of feminine, plural feminine, yeah, plural form of feminine, and they stay all the time. Ta'budna, a'budu, I worship or I will worship. Na'budu, we worship, first person, or we will worship. So this is mudari. So you have a sign of mudari, which is noon, hamza, ta, or ya, any of those. And you have on certain cases, in certain cases with tafni and jama, for example, you would have a noon at the end. In the case of tathniya, ani. In the case of men, masculine, plural, una. And for collective feminine, it would be just noon, which is a noon of femininity. It is not a noon of i'rab. We cover that at some point, but just memorize it as you memorize abada, abada, abadu. Just memorize ya'budu, ya'budani, ya'buduna, ta'budu, ta'budani, ya'buduna, ta'budu, ta'budani, ta'buduna, ta'budina, ta'budani, ta'buduna, a'budu, na'budu. You just memorize it like this. Once you have done that, you can fit any verb on this scale. Okay, let's leave it there and just do a bit of reading on our Kitab al-Asasi, which is here. Kitab al-Asasi. So we did this page, actually. Yeah, we did this. الدرس الخامس أفعال, actions. This is mudari. Yamshi, he walks. See, mudari, we've just covered mudari there. So ya'budu, yamshi, yajri, yas'adu, yanzilu, yajlisu, yaqifu, yatawadda'u. See, yeah, all suggest third person generally. So yamshi, so he's walking or he will walk, both ways. Here we can see the picture and we know they mean that he is walking. Yajri is running. Yas'adu, he is climbing up. By the picture you could see what it means. So you can make it I do the same by amshi. We do the same by namshi. You do this action, you could say tamshi, you walk. She walks, tamshi as well. You and she comes in the same form. Same words here in a different order maybe, just to make sure that you memorize the meaning of those. They're very important words. Easy, they just want you to identify those. Obviously, it's easy for you to identify those words from the group. Okay, teaching you what is the difference between za and noon. Obviously, there's slightly different writing. Difference between sheen and jim. Okay. التدريب الثامن 8th exercise. بكر يفتح الباب. بكر opens the door. بكر يغلق النافذة. بكر closes the window. بكر يقف فوق الكرسي. بكر stands on the chair. بكر يجلس على الكرسي. بكر sits on the chair. بكر يكتب على السبورة. بكر writes on the board. بكر يقرأ الكتاب. بكر reads the book. بكر يكتب في الكراسة. بكر writes in the notebook. بكر يجري. بكر runs. بكر يكبر. بكر glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying takbir. So he's saying takbir. Yukabbiru means to say Allahu Akbar. So Bakr is saying Allahu Akbar. Bakrun yasjudu. Bakr is prostrated doing sajda. Bakrun yarka'u. Bakr is bowing down doing ruku'. Bakrun yusabbihu. Bakr is saying Subhana Rabbiyal Azim or Subhanallah. Anything of tasbih. Okay. Muraja'a. Just a bit of revision. الدرس السادس 6th lesson. 6th الدرس lesson and 6th. التدريب الأول first exercise. صندوق means box. يسعد to climb. رخصة license or badge. رخصة means to have the excuse as well, but here it means license. بصلة is at the بوصلة with the vowel there, and that was a compass. صندوق again بطاطس potato. طماطم tomato. خريطة map. بطاقة the card, the badge. سيارة سيارات as in plural. Cards car. فستان frock dress. سيارة singular. car plural. إشارة sign signal. دجاج chicken. يخرج he comes out, he exits, he is going out. جزار butcher. دراجة bike. Okay, they just want you to identify qaf and kaf difference there, sin and sad difference there. بكر يأكل التفاحة. بكر eats apple, the apple. المدرس the teacher يكتب على السبورة writes on the board. بكر يأكل الطماطم. بكر eats the tomato, a tomato. المدرس يجلس على الكرسي. The teacher sits on the chair. الكتاب فوق الكرسي. The book is on the chair. المدرس يكتب على السبورة. The teacher is writing on the board. بكر يأكل التفاحة same thing. القلم على المكتب. The pen is on the desk. مكتب desk. أحمد red. يأكل he eats. يقرأ he reads. It should be فتحة. That's wrong. يقرأ. إذا shoes لحوم لحم. لحم is meat. لحوم plural of that. meat. تفاح apple. قلم pen. حقيبة satchel bag. فوق on above. They just want you to write it. في السوق لحوم ودجاج وسمك. in the market is meat, dajaj, chicken, and samak, fish. Inshallah ta'ala, we leave it there. And then qasasun nabiyyin. So Baytul Maqdis. وَكَانَ لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ زَوْجٌ أُخْرَى. For Ibrahim alayhi salam was another wife. So Ibrahim alayhi salam had a second wife. Ukhra, another zawj, spouse, another spouse. He had another wife. Ismuha Sarah. Her name was Sarah. No, her name was both ways fine. But with kana ismuha Sarah. You can go with that. So you would say ismuha Sarah. Her name was Sarah. وَكَانَ لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ وَلَدٌ آخَرٌ. And for Ibrahim alayhi salam was another son, another. Ukhra is plural, akhar is masculine. Feminine, akhar is masculine. And it's akhar, not akhir. Akhir is last. Akhar is another, second, next. Okay, so akhar as opposed to akhir. Akhir is last. Ukhra is plural of akhar. Min Sarah, from Sarah. He had another son. Ismuhu Ishaq. His name was Ishaq. وَسَكَنَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ فِي الشَّامِ. Ibrahim alayhi salam stayed in Syria, Sham. وَسَكَنَ إِسْحَاقُ. And Ishaq stayed there. وَبَنَى إِسْحَاقُ بَيْتًا لِلَّهِ فِي الشَّامِ. And Ishaq alayhi salam, he built, bana, to build, Baytan, a house, lillah, for Allah, fi Sham, in Syria. Kama bana abuhu wa akhuhu baytan lillahi fi Makkah. Like his father and his brother built a house for Allah in Makkah. وهذا المسجد, and this masjid, الذي بناه إسحاق في الشام, that which Ishaq alayhi salam built in Sham, Syria, huwa Baytul Maqdis, is Baytul Maqdis. وهو المسجد الأقصى, and this is Masjid al-Aqsa, الذي, that بارك الله حوله, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had placed or put barakah around it. وبارك الله في أولاد إسحاق, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah, blessings, in the children of Ishaq. Kama baraka fi awladi Ismail, as he did put barakah in the children of Ismail. Wa kana fihim anbiya'u wa mulukun, and among them were prophets and the kings. Wa kana li Ishaq walad, and for Ishaq alayhi salam was a son. Ismuhu Yaqub, his name was Yaqub. Wa kana nabiyyan, and he was a prophet. وكان يعقوب, and for Yaqub alayhi salam, له 12 ولدا. For him 2 and 10. 2, 10 means 12. 12 sons. Yaqub alayhi salam had 12 sons. منهم يوسف ابن يعقوب. From them, from among those 12, was Yusuf ibn Yaqub. يوسف له قصة عجيبة في القرآن. And for Yusuf alayhi salam, there's a beautiful story in Quran. وَإِلَيْكَ هَذِهِ الْقِصَّةِ. And to you is this story. Means take this story. Means have this story. So I'm telling you the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, which is the most beautiful story. So Ahsanul Qasas, the beautiful story. Ru'ya ajiba, strange or beautiful, unique dream. Ru'ya is feminine, that's why Mawsuf Sifat. Both nakira, both muannas. This is muannas feminine word. Kana Yusufu waladan saghira. Yusuf alayhi salam was a small son, Mawsuf Sifat. وَكَانَ لَهُ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ أَخًا. And for him was 1 and 10 brothers, means 11 brothers. وَكَانَ يُوسُفُ غُلَامًا جَمِيلًا. And Yusuf alayhi salam was a beautiful boy. Ghulam means boy actually, young man, pre-pubertal man, boy. وَكَانَ يُوسُفُ غُلَامًا ذَكِيًّا. Yusuf alayhi salam was intelligent, a very intelligent boy. وَكَانَ أَبُوهُ يَعْقُوب. And his father Yaqub يحبه loved him أكثر من جميع إخوته, more than all his brothers, all of his brothers. He loved his father Yaqub, loved him the most. ذات ليلة, one night, رأى Yusuf alayhi salam saw, one night Yusuf alayhi salam saw رؤيا عجيبة, a strange dream. رأى أحد عشر كوكبا, he saw 1 and 10 means 11 stars. ورأى الشمس والقمر, he saw the sun and the moon. كل يسجد له, everyone or every one of those prostrating to him. تعجب يوسف الصغير كثيرا, Yusuf, the young Yusuf, got very stunned by that. He got very shocked. He was obviously, this was a strange dream, so he got shocked by that, surprised by that a lot. وما فهم هذه الرؤيا, and he didn't understand this dream. كيف تسجد الكواكب والشمس والقمر للرجل? How can the sun and the moon prostrate, and the stars, sun and moon prostrate to لرجل, a man? How could they prostrate to a man? ذهب يوسف الصغير إلى أبيه. So Yusuf alayhi salam, the young Yusuf alayhi salam, went إلى أبيه, to his father Yaqub, وحكى له, and he told him هذه الرؤيا العجيبة, the strange dream. قال يا أبتي, so he said, this is in parenthesis part of Quran, يا أبتي, oh my father, إني رأيت, indeed I saw أحد عشر كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين. I saw 1 and 10, 11 stars and the sun and the moon. I saw them for me prostrating, means they were prostrating to me. وكان أبو يعقوب نبيا, his father Yaqub alayhi salam was a prophet. فرح يعقوب بهذه الرؤيا كثيرا. Yaqub alayhi salam became very happy with this dream. وقال, and he said, بارك الله لك يا يوسف, may Allah put blessings in you, O Yusuf. فسيكون لك شأن, indeed very soon in future for you there will be a special favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Laka sha'an. Sha'an means you would have a special shan, a special status. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give you something very special. هذه رؤيا بشارة بعلم ونبوة. This dream is a glad tiding for ilm, the knowledge, and nubuwa, and the prophethood. وقد أنعم الله على جدك إسحاق وقد أنعم الله على جدك إبراهيم. And indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has favored, showered his mercies upon your grandfather Ishaq, and indeed your father, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has favored upon your grandfather, means great grandfather Ibrahim as well. وإنه ينعم, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would favor you alayka. وينعم على آل يعقوب, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would favor the children of Yaqub alayhi salam. وكان يعقوب شيخا كبيرا, and Yaqub alayhi salam was an old man. شيخا كبيرا, old man, big, very old man. وكان يعرف طبائع الناس, and he knew the behavior, the attitude of people, the nature of people. وكان يعرف, and he understood, he knew كيف يغلب الشيطان, how shaitan overpowers. وكيف يلعب الشيطان بالإنسان, and how shaitan plays with insan, with people. فقال يا ولدي, so he said, oh my son, لا تخبر بهذه الرؤيا, do not tell this dream أحدا, anyone من إخوتك, from your brothers, فإنهم يحسدونك, because they will become jealous of you, they would envy you. ويكونون لك عدوا, and they will become your enemy. So inshallah we'll leave it there. جزاك الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.